Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to talk about something really cool. This is the vintage modified Squier Jaguar. And you know, it's a Jaguar, so I had to wear the glasses, right? Nah, I'm just messing around. I'll take those off. So, what is this guitar? Well, it's a Jaguar. And it is an amazing guitar. So, back in the day when Fender was kind of in a weird spot, they were known for the Telecaster and the Stratocaster, and the Stratocaster sales were way down. I mean, they were not doing so well. So Leo Fender said, okay, back to the drawing board, we got to come up with something better. And they came up with this. Now before we get into what this guitar is, obviously that train of thought didn't go very far because some dude named Jimi Hendrix got really famous playing a Stratocaster, and what do you know, they couldn't fulfill the orders, they were coming in so quick. But what is the Jaguar? It's a radical departure from the things that Fender was usually doing. This guitar has a really weird switching system. And you know, it's kind of intimidating to some people, but I'll do my best to explain it the best way that I can. So let's look on this side of the guitar first. Basically, you've got these three switches here, okay? This switch, off and on, okay? This top one is for your bridge pickup, also known as the lead pickup. This switch is for the neck pickup, also known as the rhythm pickup. And this switch is a low cut. And what that does is it makes the guitar sound kind of nasally, kind of out of phase, sort of. I'll demonstrate that in the demo. So when you have your bridge pickup on and this switch engaged, it cuts the low frequencies out. It doesn't do anything with the neck pickup though, okay? Then you have your volume and your tone for this channel. Then up here, you've got a completely different set of controls. When you flip this switch on, it activates what they call the rhythm circuit. And when the rhythm circuit is active, nothing on this side of the guitar does anything. With the rhythm circuit, you only get the rhythm or the neck pickup, and then you get a volume and a tone. That's really it. The idea behind that was, oh, and the other thing I should mention, on the rhythm circuit, it's a lot darker. It has more of a high cut. So it's kind of the opposite of what the low cut does on the lead circuit. It's kind of a high cut. It gives you a very dark sound, a very good sound. I like it very much. I'll show it to you in the sound demo later on. The idea behind this was if you had two different circuits, instead of just the traditional 5-way or 3-way switch, you could set, you know, this rhythm circuit a certain way. So you could put maybe your volume down a little and then your tone down a little, right? And then you could also, so it's kind of like a Les Paul, right? You can set your volume and your tone on your lead circuit too. So while you're in the middle of playing, you know, easily just switch it, boom, you've got your other set of knobs over here. Not really reinventing the wheel because Gibson had done that with the Les Paul and SG and others before this. So that's kind of what makes this different. The other thing that makes this different, it's a 24-inch scale length instead of 25.5 like a normal Fender. So it's got a shorter scale length, makes it a lot easier to play. It's also got this really interesting vibrato system that's also found on the Jazzmaster. So this vibrato system, the strings come over this bridge and it goes down into this little tailpiece here. Underneath this tailpiece are some springs that are attached to a cavity in the body, and when you move the bar, this entire thing moves. And as it moves, it rocks this bridge back and forth, and it gives you vibrato. It's not plugged in right now, but you can hear it still. Right? Okay, so that's the Jaguar in a nutshell. I always wanted one for the longest time, and a few years ago I managed to get one, and I was super excited about it, and I got it home. I had no idea how to work the damn thing. I had taken a hiatus from playing the guitar for almost 5 years at this point, so this was about 3 or 4 years ago that this happened. So I got this guitar, and I thought it sounded awful. You know, I hated the way that it sounded. I did not like the bridge pickup at all, and the neck pickup was just okay to me. I didn't really understand the rhythm and lead thing. I looked up diagrams, and in practice I never really understood it. My ear wasn't really trained. My technique wasn't really that great because it had kind of degraded a little bit over the years. So I traded it away for another guitar. And as I got more into the guitar, started this YouTube channel, started gigging, started collecting guitars. I think I've got 30 guitars now. I regretted getting rid of this guitar so much. It was just like this one, vintage modified. Then I was in my local guitar shop, and what did they have hanging on the wall? An old stock, vintage modified Squier Jag, in the exact same color as the one that I had traded. I had this crazy idea I'd trade him that guitar that I traded my Jag for, and they did the deal. So I traded that guitar, I got this one. Can't believe it's mine. So the Vintage Modified series by Squier is different from the Classic Vibe series. The Classic Vibe series is more of like a reproduction of the original guitar as it originally was. For example, on this channel we did the Vintage Modified Mustang, which is very similar to a Mustang from the 60s. Very well made, very well done, on par or better than a Mexican Fender, dare I say. It's very good. The Vintage Modified series is a little bit different. It's got the spirit of the original, but with some interesting upgrades. The major upgrade is the pickups. Some people would say it's not an upgrade, but these pickups are Duncan designed, it says, and they are just hotter. Best thing I can tell you. They're wound a little hotter than regular Jag pickups. Same goes for any of those Duncan designed pickups. I've owned several of them in many different guitars, and they are just hotter. I mean, they aren't really quite as articulate as the stock pickups in something like a Classic Vibe, but they're a little hotter. And for the kind of music that I play, that's fine. And you know what? If they're too hot, that's why you have a volume control on your guitar. As long as you got good pots in there, you can roll that back. So this particular guitar, Vintage Modified Jaguar, like I said, major difference is those pickups. The pickups in the Jaguar and this one are very interesting. So they're single coil pickups, but they're bigger than a Strat pickup. They got these weird little claws on them. See that? So those weird little claws were an invention by Leo Fender that didn't really take off as he thought it would. So Gibson had the humbucker, right? And you had two sets of coils. One would cancel the other one out, cancel out the buzzing frequencies, and no more hum. Leo thought, what if we put these metal claws around our pickups to absorb and cut out the hum? It didn't really work that well. And what it does instead is it gives a Jaguar one of its character sounds, which is very sparkly. Because of the way that this vibrato system is, and you've got these open strings, when you play, it's very jangly. Some people don't like that. And it can be tamed, and we'll go over that in the sound test. Add to that the conductive nature of these claws with this, and you get a very jangly, very bright sounding guitar, especially when you engage the low cut on the lead circuit. And I keep saying this, but we'll get to that. What else have we got on this particular guitar? This is a bolt-on neck. It's got the skunk stripe on the back. Very nice finish on the back. It's a glossy finish, but not too glossy to where your hand sticks to it. This one is one that came out in 2014. Luckily for me, it was new in the year 2023. I guess it hung in the shop for 9 years. But back then, they still had rosewood on fingerboards. So this is a rosewood fingerboard. Very nice. It's unclear what the nut is made out of. I've heard that it's bone. At the very least, it's synthetic bone. It doesn't appear or feel, or it doesn't seem to be plastic to me. Get to the headstock. You've got the gold Squier logo. You've got Jaguar, that very cool font. And you've got vintage style tuners. We did a video on how to change strings on those. I like vintage style tuners way better than modern tuners. I might even like them better than locking tuners, but that's just me. And then you've got your volume and tone and all the other stuff that we already talked about. Your output jack is just on the top of the body right here. It's very comfortable to play. It almost feels like cheating when you play a guitar like this when you're used to a full-length, scale-length Fender. I will say that the difference isn't as noticeable if you play a Gibson scale-length guitar, though. Gibson scale length only being 3/4 of an inch longer in scale length than this. It doesn't feel as different or as easy, but that's okay. It means it's familiar to you. So if you're used to playing Gibson scale length guitars like a Les Paul or an SG or something, you'll feel right at home on this. The nature of this system, the vibrato system and the scale length, makes the strings easier to press down, makes bends way easier, and it just feels faster to play. It's the best way that I can describe it. It's a very pleasant experience, the same as the Mustang. I will say the playability of this and the Mustang are almost the same, but because of this vibrato system, This is way heavier than my Mustang, like way heavier. So, you know, that adds a little bit of fatigue, if that's the kind of thing that you're worried about. If you're sitting down, you don't really notice it. If you're standing up, you do, but if you play a Les Paul or a Strat, it's really no heavier than that. So, yeah, it's a very, very nice guitar. I really like it. And, by the way, I love this color. I'm not sure what this color is. I think it's candy apple red, but it's brighter than any other candy apple red Fender I've ever seen. Could be that it was hanging in the shop for so long that the paint started to fade or something. It has a very light metallic sheen to it underneath. It's almost like a burnt orange, like a orangey red color. Absolutely wonderful. One last thing to note here, tremolo arm, it just pops in. That also means that it pops out. Of course, it won't do it when you want it to. But if you hold it a certain kind of way, it just falls out. There it goes. So yeah, be mindful of that. Yeah, so that's the specs of the guitar. I suppose now we should do a sound test. So the first thing we're going to test is the lead circuit. So that's with this switch down, this switch on, and these two switches off. This is with volume and tone on 10. This is a clean setting with a little bit of reverb and delay. So as you can hear there, these pickups are so hot that it's peaking out the interface. So I'm going to turn the volume knob down a little bit, just barely. Now listen how different it sounds. Big difference. So wide open on the lead circuit on the bridge pickup, it's not the greatest thing. Unless you're doing something very, very specific. Like, I don't know, maybe something like this. But as soon as you start going real hard at it, it doesn't sound great. Like that sound might be for somebody out there, but it's not a great sound to me. So I find putting the volume at like 9 fixes it. Hear how much more usable that is? Okay, now we're gonna go to the bridge pickup, or I'm sorry, the neck pickup. So this switch is down, middle switch is up. As you can hear, it's doing sort of the same thing. So again, we're going to turn the volume down to like 9. Hear how drastic of a change that is? So there's that. Now we're going to do both pickups on. Everything on 10 again. It's still kind of peaking out, so let's turn the volume down a little. Now we're going to engage that low cut. So first I'll play it without it, and then I'll play it with it so you can hear what it does. So here's without it. So you can hear what it does. It's really cool. Very unique thing that really only the Jag can do. Okay, and even then it's sort of doing that peaky thing. So let's turn it down to about 8, the volume. All right. That was all just the lead circuit. So now let's put it on the rhythm circuit. Everything's turned up all the way. So to do that, you just flip this switch up. Now you disregard everything down here. None of this stuff down here does anything now. That sounds awesome. Okay, so that's the brief rundown on a clean setting. Let's do the same thing, but with a super heavily overdriven sound. There, I had a echo on my voice. Super drive. Really, it's just overdrive. So let's do this whole thing again. This time I'm not going to stop and explain every step of the way. I'll just very briefly tell you what I'm doing. So, bridge pickup. So it sounds good there with everything turned up all the way. All right, let's check out the neck. All right, that also sounds awesome. Both of them on now. That sounds great. All right, let's turn on that low cut on the bridge.
Great sound. Comparison. Here it is without it. Here it is with it. Love it. Let's go to the rhythm circuit now. I mean, it sounds awesome. And it's hard to explain how it feels just from you watching a video, but it feels super premium. Like, it feels great. The neck feels good. The fretwork is awesome. It's super easy to play. Yeah, this is pretty great.
So, what do I think about the Jag, the Squier VM Jag? Man, this thing is kick-ass. I love this guitar. It's super unique. It doesn't feel really or sound really like anything else that I've got. I mean, the fact that you can do that low cut is really cool, and yeah, you could install that on any guitar if you wanted to, but this one comes that way. It comes in great colors. It looks really cool. It feels really good. The only bad thing to some of you might be that it says Squier instead of Fender on the headstock. Well, if that bothers you so much that you got to go spend $1,200 to get a Fender, then I can't help you. I would say that for the prices these things are going for nowadays, even new, I think they're $469. It's a great value for that. It really is. It feels as good as any of the Fenders that I own, and I own both American and Mexican Fenders, and this feels as good as any of those. I love the way that it sounds. I love the way that it feels. The different pickup configurations give you so much versatility when you're recording, or even if you're just playing with your friends or playing by yourself. It gives you that little extra edge. That low cut switch is just really cool kind of an edge. Could you achieve that same effect with a cheap pedal? Probably. But, I mean, the same could be said for anything. If that was your argument, then the answer would be go get the cheapest Squier that you could possibly find that doesn't have sharp frets and just buy a bunch of pedals. Clearly it matters. It matters because of how it makes you feel when you play it. It matters how it makes you feel when you look at it. And it matters how it makes you feel when others see you playing it. And for me, this Squier VM Jaguar ticks all of those boxes. I highly recommend it. If you find one for less than retail price, less than $400, if it's less than $300, just make sure that it's not broken, and that's a great deal. I recommend it. Even at full price though, you can't really go wrong. Nowadays they don't sell the vintage modified anymore, but the classic vibe is more or less the same thing without the super hot pickups, which I think I might have liked better, simply because I have to keep rolling the volume down a little bit because it's so peaky and jangly. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. I very much appreciate all of you so much. We reached 1,000 subscribers last weekend. Interesting that we started the channel with a Mustang and we hit 1,000 subscribers with a Mustang. So thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. It really means the world to me that we were able to do this. I never imagined that we would get to that point where we've got over 1,000 subscribers, but here we are, and it continues to grow every day. If you're not one of them, please click the button below to subscribe. And also you can follow us on social media and join our Discord. You'll find the description for that, the links for that in the description below. And if you want to buy one of these brand new, from a place where it's really easy to return it if you have a problem, I will post the link to Amazon. You can buy it straight from that link if you like. Thanks again for watching. Very much appreciate all of you. See you next time, and keep on rocking.